but fear the dark, then Delphi. After dawn is your sanctuary. As the first light of dawn breaks through the night, we embark on a journey into the mysteries that chill the spine. I'm your host, Jason King, and together, we'll explore the stories that lurk in the shadows. Each episode, we unravel chilling tales of unsolved crimes, police corruption, and heart-wrenching disappearances. Imagine a world where over 600,000 people vanished last year alone in the U.S., leaving behind only questions and heartache. Violent crime is on the rise, and the shadows grow longer each day. By joining us, you become a beacon for the voiceless, a light in the darkness. Together, we'll shine a light on society's darkest corners, uncovering the truths that hide in plain sight. From the eerie silence of abandoned buildings to the bustling streets where secrets are whispered, we leave no stone unturned. Tune in to Delphi After Dawn, where understanding is just a story away. Join us and let the journey begin. As we delve deeper, remember that every story has a heartbeat, a pulse that connects us all. We navigate through the labyrinth of human experience, seeking answers and shedding light on the unknown. So prepare yourself for a journey like no other, where every revelation brings us closer to the truth. Delphi. After Dawn is more than just a podcast. It's a community of seekers, united by curiosity and compassion. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. Join us and let the journey begin anew. In the shadows of the city, where secrets are commodities and trust is a luxury, one man delves into the minds of the monstrous. Welcome to the world of Jason King, a detective with a mind as sharp as a scalpel and a heart as resilient as steel. Beneath the ordinary scenes of daily life, grim tales of notorious serial killers lurk. Each one, unique in their madness, leaves behind a chilling legacy of victims and unsolvable puzzles. But the twisted minds of these murderers never elude Jason King. With every episode, the stakes rise. Every grim detail, each hideous crime, King peels back layer by layer. In a world where evil is the norm and horror is the narrative, Jason King remains steadfast. His mission? To uncover the dark consciousness of terror. His promise? Justice. This is Jason King's world, where crime is not just confronted, but comprehended. Dive deep into the chilling tales of serial killers with Jason King.
What's going on? Where's everybody watching from out there? Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, or even if you're live on Mars with Elon Musk and the other snooties. What's up, everybody? I am your host, Jason King. Welcome to Delphi After Dawn, Crime Stories with Jason King. So tonight I'm going to have a couple people up on panel. A couple special guests are going to appear tonight, live on panel, right here on the show. Hope everybody's having a good night and staying warm. Let's see here. Everybody give oh yeah, and I got something special planned for tonight. I'm going to be playing a special little something for you all tonight, so you don't want to go anywhere. Give a warm welcome to special guest Randy Gravitt, everyone.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? I got a cold, so There's stuff being tired too from the funeral today.
Yeah, Randy's he's really got having a hard time right now. He's got a cold, just lost his father, had to go to his father's funeral.
It was only 29 degrees outside.
Daggone. And then I'm dealing with my stepdad. He just got out of ICU from having hip surgery, and that didn't go too well. Obviously, because it's not normal for somebody to have 3 blood transfusions after having a minor hip surgery. So that's, well, I don't know if I'd call that minor, having hip surgery, but I know it's not normal to have 3 blood transfusions after hip surgery, right?
It just depends on what happened. Do you still know what happened? What caused it? Sometimes they're not doing hip surgery. You ain't supposed to have that type of blood loss,
right?
Unless the doctor did something internally, and
that's what I think happened. Honestly,
hey Zena,
I think something. I think something went wrong, and they're not saying nothing and they're trying to cover it up, like they did with me when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Oh man. We're supposed to be having a third special guest tonight. Sleuth Reloaded is supposed to come on panel. I just have to send him a link.
I'll send to his
let me check my email.
Facebook page, his messenger.
Let's see.
Everybody was talking about the Libby's phone all this week.
Oh yeah, that's been the topic.
And stuff. But people don't understand because on Marv's channel, I was telling them that when I was crossing the creek, I fell in the creek several times with my iPad. It got wet. So yeah, it can get wet if it's not protected or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take it all apart and put it dry out and rice. But yeah, that phone they're showing basically yes. If it got wet, it got wet. And of course it was that cold that night too. So yeah, it could be a permanent frost, moisture. So yeah, it could cause that would happen to look like, okay, there's something in the phone. But I had to dry out my iPad because I slipped and fell trying to get across the creek. So it can happen because those rocks and stuff in the creek you got moss and stuff on those rocks. And yeah, wherever the phone was, they either picked it up out of the water to take with them across the Ron Logan's property. And wherever they found, that's where they found it with all that moisture in it and being as cold as it is.
So the phone was wet, right?
Yeah, well, you can tell at the moisture on that phone in that photograph of Libby's. Yeah, it had moisture in it, so that means the water it fell in the water somewhere.
Yeah, when I seen that phone on the video, it did look like it had a lot of moisture on it.
So yeah, it from the water. She dropped it or picked it up and took her on land. She was trying to save the phone as much as she can, but she would have to go. They would have once they got it, they would have to soak it up out in the rice, take it all apart, like I did. I had to soak everything up in rice and to get it working again.
Right. I had to do that a long time ago with one of my older phones.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it don't work half the time. Either that's the other problem. If it don't work, you're in trouble.
What the heck?
Send it to his Facebook Messenger.
I'm trying to pull up. That's what I'm trying to do now, and it's telling me I need to enter a PIN to restore my chat history. What the fuck is going on here? Hold on. What the hell? This is ridiculous. Hold on.
And like everybody else is agreeing that the defense team is coming up with stuff to get back into court, items that they already knew, and that's what the prosecutor is telling them. They knew all about that. They did not put this stuff in the court system. They knew all the documents. They had all the documents, but the stuff that they are talking about now. But they didn't want to do it, and they didn't want to throw their thing at the end. All they said, okay, we're done, we're finished. But they asked for the extra 2 more weeks to they could have had that brought up, but they didn't. So and the appeals court's going to say, hey, there's no errors in this. Only errors I see is you guys. And Judge Gall's going to say, hey, yeah, I told them what they need to do, and they try to put innocent people in prison, which they didn't do. They didn't do anything.
That's exactly what you're doing, trying to put innocent people that had nothing to do with the crime in prison.
And they keep on adding things. It's nothing. There's nothing to add. That's why you got several of these cases. People try to add things. It has nothing to do with it. Especially with some of these other murders, trying to say, oh, this goes for this murder. This person was there. Like, no.
Yeah, if they had, you know what's crazy? If they had their way about it, they would literally have a man that murdered 2 children, a free man. They would have him out of prison walking the streets.
Yeah.
If they had their way about it. That's what I find crazy. And you know what else I find crazy? They whined and cried and complained for years about how they wanted to know who the killer was. They wanted to know who was responsible for Abby and Libby's deaths. And then finally, they charge and arrest the man that is responsible for the murders of those 2 girls. And now they're not happy. They're like, oh no, he's innocent. He's innocent. He's not, even though he confessed 63 times to the crime himself, they're like, no, he's innocent.
Well, like the jury said, they saw what they needed to see. They took out what they don't want and don't understand, like the bullet. They didn't understand because they didn't explain on the board. Like I did a video of how the markings were on the bullet, each section that ejection out of the gun, and that's what they should have had. A demonstration of the video, like marking, or this is where the pin mark where the launched the bullet from, and ejecting each marking of different levels. But like they said, they didn't understand the bullet. And so they went, that's why they were looking at other ways. And like she said, there was a juror who has been on jurors' cases, and he knew what to do, and he explained to them. So luckily there was a person who had experience to explain people, you need to look at this and this, and if you think he's still not to the point you believe he's innocent or not innocent, that's fine. They'll be there for a longer time. But they came through and look at all the evidence, what they saw, and they pick and choose. And that's what they did. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing they said, he was the only one on that bridge by himself. No one else.
Yeah.
And he saw Libby and Abby. And the question is, I would ask, if I was the jury in this case, do you see anybody saying we didn't see Libby or Abby or the killer out there or past them when they were coming to the north end of the bridge? That would be the one mystery. Okay, how come nobody else seen him?
Exactly.
leave, or Libby Abby leave, because Libby Abby would have been right there at the drop off waiting for her dad to pick them up.
Yeah, and if he wasn't doing anything nefarious, like committing murder, right, of two
Yeah.
kids, when he left, he would have taken the main trail out like a normal person.
There's only one way in and one way out.
There's only one way in, one trail in, one trail out, right? And that's what a normal person would do. They would take the trail in, they would take the trail out. But he didn't do that. No one's seen him leave. You know why? Because after he committed the murders, he probably took
Like I said,
the creek bed out or the old abandoned railroad.
No, he went through the cemetery.
Or the cemetery, yeah, exactly.
He went through, came up in the cemetery. That's where he went through. He went through the ravine in between, because there's trees in that ravine could be covered until you get out towards the cemetery, and it's wide open to cornfields and part of the cemetery. But that's where I said a long time ago, that's where he went. He cut through the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fastest way to get out, because why would you want to go back across the creek,
right,
get your ass shot by what Brad Weber with a shotgun, saying, what the hell are you doing on my property? But yeah, there's since he lived on the other side of the bridge, why didn't he? He could have been covered all the way through to where that there was a church off of 200. And he could have walked through the wooded area not being seen that way. And then start walking on the 200 to go to his house. That's the strange part. Why didn't he just walk from his house to where the bridge is?
Yeah.
He wasn't that far. The escape routes this person did he was not thinking. You know, knowing that rail line, the old rail line, he could have took those girls on that old rail line, kept going through the wooded area, and not take them down below. Because they wouldn't know. Nobody would have found them over there until months later, because they were looking every place else.
Yeah.
I don't know if they looked along that train line that goes into 200 road, but yeah, he didn't really. I would say this would be the dumbest criminal I ever seen trying to do escape route, knowing that he already seen the area for, I don't know, well, he lived in Delphi since 2006, and he's been out there so many times, and his wife didn't know he's been on the bridge so many times. Not telling you I was on the bridge. I am on the bridge.
Yeah, and for the people out there that thinks Richard Allen's innocent, let's not forget the fact that the police found out that, he was saying he was at his wife's sister's, right? But then when police checked his wife's sister's, she was like, oh, he's at home with his wife. So he lied about his alibi too, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. So Kathy lied about where he was. It was in a different answer than what the police said. It's like, well, this is not what I got from your sister.
Yeah, she said he was at her sister's, and then her sister said he wasn't here. He was with his wife.
No.
So there was two conflicting stories. He was lying.
So it's like, where's the real truth here?
Yeah.
Here you are on the bridge during the scene. You supposed to be with your wife, or you supposed to be with your sister-in-law.
Yeah. Welcome, Sleuth Reloaded. What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
what is up, guys? Hope
Hey,
you guys having a good night tonight. I know I did a great live last night. Missing kid, been missing for 5 years. They just put this out, which I think is ridiculous.
oh, wow. Well, it's like
Now, right there, that don't make any sense. I don't think 60 some confessions were false. I mean, how in the hell a guy gonna get railroaded after they convict him and sentence him? Man, he already read a confession letter. Come on, guys. I mean,
Yeah, and let's not forget about the phone calls too.
yeah, the phone call.
see, especially when he got pissed off at his wife and threw his tablet against the wall, some $350 tablet
Mm-hmm.
threw against the wall. That's not easy to come by of getting that type of tablet.
That's crazy. To break a $300 tablet when that's your only, like when you're in jail.
Trying to talk to your wife, your mom.
That is insane, man. Like, could you imagine breaking a $300 tablet when you're in jail?
Well, they had the prison people had to pay out of the pocket to replace that one because usually the prisoners have to earn it for a tablet. But they had to replace it because of what his situation is at the time.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Since Richard Allen has tablets, what kind of access do he have on that type of
Well, he
device?
can do video calls.
Okay.
Yeah, he can do video calls. I don't know if
I know I got a cousin
other
that's
text on that too to some his family or not.
well, they do have a program you can use at certain prisons to where you can get on your tablet and you can send text messages and emails and communicate with people on the outside.
Yeah.
But but that's only at certain prisons. Like you got certain prisons with different rules, you know what I mean? Like I got a cousin right now that's serving prison time. He's been in prison for the last, I think 7-8 years or something like that. Anyways, he was on his way up the road and had a bunch of cocaine on him and stuff, and had just left this girl's house, and he got pulled over by the cops. It was late one night. He was in a big SUV, and when the cop walked up to his vehicle, I don't know what made him wig out, but he wigged out, right? The cop tried to pull him out of the vehicle, and he was like, motherfucker, I ain't going nowhere, right? So he puts the car in drive and hits the gas pedal with the cop trying to pull him out of the vehicle, right? The SUV goes forward, right? Smashes into a cop car, right? The cop's trying to struggle with him while this is going on. He almost run the cop over, right? The cop's trying to pull him out while this is going on. And then, like, he smashed into the cop car, right? Then he throws it in reverse. And then the cop, like, gets up, runs over, tries to pull him out real quick after he crashed into the cop car, right? By that time, when his backup had arrived and was pulling in behind him, and he threw it in reverse, stomped on the gas pedal again. The SUV went flying back, smashed into the second cop car when his backup showed up, right? So he smashed into two cop cars, right? And then he put it in drive, stomped on the gas pedal, took off again, and on his way out, he smashed into the first cop car he had already smashed into the first time on his way out. So he smashed into two cop cars several times, took off on a chase, led him on a chase, man. It was crazy. But yeah, they ended up catching up with him and they arrested his ass, and he ended up getting caught with some what he had on him, and of course they charged him with almost, running the cop over. They charged him with crashing cop cars and all that. Hence, that's why he got so much prison time, right? But he's supposed to be out here soon.
So that cop charge when he tried to run the cop over. So is that criminal reckless, right? criminal
Yeah,
recklessness.
more like a murder.
Like it's kind of like an attempted.
Oh,
They could have given him with attempted murder on a cop or whatever, but
Yeah.
wait.
I'm not really sure exactly what his charges was. But I know that's what he did to land him where he's at now, right? And you know what's crazy? You know, since he's been pulling prison time, when you go to federal prison, right, they can just keep transferring you from prison to prison, right? You know that he has been to like probably 8 or 9 different states since he's been pulling his prison time. He's been to like 8 or 9 different prisons, maybe even more, right?
See, that's the thing.
And he's in he's in a prison in California right now.
Oh, see, that's the thing. When you're in the state's hands, you're in prison. You're in their hands. I'll tell you what. Hell, they can ship your ass over to Europe or whatever. They can do what they want, man. They don't care. Hell, Guantanamo Bay. Hell, they can throw your ass there if they want to.
Yeah, he's supposed to be getting out early with good behavior or something. He's supposed to be going to some kind of like, what is it, like a halfway house? Is that what they call it? Rehabilitation house for like people that get out of prison. What's it called? There's like a name for it.
That's what they usually do. It all depends on the conditions or whatever. Because I know a guy that's actually, he put himself back in prison. At first he was in a halfway house, and all of a sudden he fucked up, and he's back in actual prison. Yeah, don't fuck up.
Yeah, see, and that's what's crazy about the system, right? It's almost like the system's like rigged to where they kind of set you up for failure once you get caught up in the system, because it's like once he gets out, right, he's gonna have to go to like this halfway house, right, and then he's gonna be on parole or whatever you call it, right, and then like when you're on parole, they make you like find employment or whatever, right, and then now that he's always been a felon, but you know, it's harder for felons to find jobs and stuff.
Hey,
if you don't find employment, they violate you and put you back in prison.
Hey, Cyber Warrior, put John Kerry on timeout.
Oh yeah, we got a troll.
Yeah, we got a troll. Woo, 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 woo.
Troll. I need to set that back up. Remember the troll alert I used to have set up?
Yeah.
On my old live shows where when a troll would come in, I'd do the troll alert. I need to set that shit back up again. But yeah, back to the Delphi case. What was you saying, Randy? Talking about the phone. You still there, buddy? I think we lost Randy. There we go.
Oh, my thing went out again. There we go. My thing went out.
Welcome, Melissa.
So the phone, you can see it's been permafrost on that phone and moisture. So it was cold that night. So yeah, it would be either she dropped it in the water and got wet in order to get what it looked like now.
Yeah.
On that cover of the screen. And like I said, when I fell in the water with my iPad and got wet, then you can barely use it without not drying like you're supposed to use rice and stuff. So
do you have a wrench, Melissa?
I don't think she has a wrench.
Let's see. I'm waiting on her to reply. I can't tell if she has one or not. Let's see.
No, she's not blue. She's not blue.
You want me to give you a wrench, Melissa? You want to be a moderator?
Give Xena one too, actually.
Who?
Give Xena Princess one actually too.
Okay.
Yeah, you know who that is.
Yeah.
See what it is with these trolls. I got a good idea probably where they're coming from.
Well, this John Kerry is not getting the point. he thinks we're harassing Brandon, which we ain't harassing Brandon. Brandon harassed us. So you want to twist that around, John Kerry.
Brandon, the one harassed us, making farting sounds, making videos at us, making us eyes bulge our domes and all that shit. That was ridiculous.
Where are your information getting it to? It's not correct information.
You said Xena Princess, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
That photo of the kitty cat.
Yeah. Let me know when a wrench pops up.
She's on.
Right. Melissa, you should have your wrench now, and
I see Melissa has her wrench.
Yeah, I see hers.
Xena Princess should be getting her wrench any second.
Right.
Did she get it yet?
I don't know if she's on here or not. I see her in the past, but I don't see her updated here lately.
Yes. Hold on 1 second here.
Yep, there we go. Melissa Wildcard has her wrench right there. All right. How's it feel to have a wrench now, Melissa? Got you a monkey wrench now. You can bop heads. Bop, bop. Did Xena Princess get her wrench?
Yeah, she did. She got her.
There she is. There we go. There we go. Xena Princess has her wrench there. Now you got your monkey wrench. You can bop heads now.
Alrighty. Just hit 86K on their asses. They want to come in and talk shit. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. These are the people I expose.
Yeah, they just do it because they're bored. They're probably sitting at home bored. And they're like, I'm gonna talk shit and mess with this YouTuber. It's live on his podcast channel. It's crazy the amount of it's crazy the amount of YouTubers that have to do.
Oh yeah, by the way, Randy might want a wrench.
Oh, Randy, you don't have a wrench, Randy?
No.
Not at all.
Hold on real quick. I thought you had one.
Yeah, let's fix Randy up tonight, buddy.
Yeah.
I did a long time ago.
Yeah, I thought I already had you on.
But it disappeared.
Get Randy with the blue wrench, you know.
There we
Come
go.
through Randy.
There we go.
All right, see here. Let's try this again.
Take that wrench, Randy.
Did you get your wrench, Randy?
I got the wrench.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Come through them trolls, Randy, with that wrench, man. Come through Randy.
Right. That's right. You got the power now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the power. But yeah, I noticed that when I seen that phone on that video, on the news video, it did look like it had some moisture to it, some water damage to it.
See, that's the thing I was telling you, Curly. That I guarantee you that phone, since all that moisture, man, because I've been around electronics all my life. Okay, long time ago, I had an Atari 2600. Water accidentally wasted in it. When I turned it on, I didn't press anything. It was like I was actually playing the game, which I wasn't. Why? Because it got malfunction due to water.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing about electronics. You cannot waste nothing in those type of devices. Moisture, condensation, yeah. The only thing that's going to dry out some stuff, you just take that phone, take a Ziploc bag, pour rice in that mofo, and put that phone there, seal it up. That rice will dry out everything. Randy is right about that rice thing.
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely.
I had to took my iPad apart because I fell in like 2 or 3 times crossing the creek, and it wasn't working right, so I got everything dried up, and
Dang.
that's what it's like. I told Marv that they were wondering about their phone. I said, well, yeah, this what happened to me. If I slip on one of those mossy rocks and laying it in, even though I had it in my jacket to be protective, but it still got wet. So if they were carrying their clothes across the creek and fell down, they had to get back up. If Libby had the phone in her hand with her clothes in her hand crossing the creek
Right.
with no clothes on, and she slipped and fell.
That's
No
awful.
traction. She doesn't have no traction. Even with your feet, you won't have no traction.
Oh, okay. Melissa says,
Especially that anybody that's ever played in the river or the creek before, you know how slippery those rocks can get.
Yes, yeah, all that moss and
Yes.
oh,
I got a good example here. This something happened to me. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. When I used to go creek fishing, I go in the creek. I walk in the middle of it. I didn't realize I had my little taser in my pocket. Since it got wet, it malfunctioned like it wanted to work. Then again, the flashlight part went out on it. Then again, it wanted to go zzz, but it started acting retarded pretty much.
yeah,
Right.
it's being wet. Yeah,
Yeah, that's an example.
so yeah,
and
and that's where the pin seems there was some plug-in jack, but the problem is with being permafrost out there, and you can see moisture on the phone. Yeah, it could ruin it because it got wet. So, like I said, the killer knew Libby had the phone. Everybody kept saying that he didn't know she had the phone. She did. She had the phone. She always hold both her hands out on her phone in front of her and taking pictures and stuff. And he knew she had a phone.
You know how we always wondered throughout the 8 years, however long it's been, like what, 8 years?
Well, it will be almost next 2 weeks from now,
right?
A week and a half. It will be 8 years.
Yeah. So like almost 8 years it's been. You know how we've always wondered why. We always was left wondering, why did the killer leave the phone? You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been a mystery. Well, now it kind of makes sense. Maybe he left it because he knew it had water damage and he couldn't do nothing with it.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen because the detective I talked to at the hotel in Lafayette, he says, where was the phone? I said, the phone would have been with Libby, with them. And he tried to trick me. Like, no, the phone would be with Libby. She wouldn't give up that phone if it was. And if okay. John Kerry, you need to stop.
Oh, I just seen that.
Yeah. I mean this shit childish, man. I blame all of whatever. Brandon ain't had no meltdown. Only thing this dude ever done, man, I do a live show. Next thing I know,
Brandon was a serial killer. He was the one throwing us for 3 years, and then he gets arrested for murdering his mom, stepdad, and then it comes out later he confesses to detectives while he's in jail about that 14-year-old girl, that went missing, that lived in the same area as him.
In the apartment complex.
Yeah, he confessed to detectives that he abducted her or whatever. He raped her. Okay. I can't say the actual word, but you know what I mean when I say he raped her. He raped her, and then he murdered her, and then he told them where to find her body. They ended up finding her body in the dump. So that didn't get leaked to the press. I'm finding all this out through somebody that was his roommate. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot more to the
his
story.
His roommate knows. Unless you're his roommate, John.
That's the thing about this Brandon Rhodes, man, when he used to troll us. I mean,
that's three people that he killed. So, in order to be labeled as a serial killer, you have to kill at least 3 or more people. So technically, since he killed 3 people, he's labeled as a serial killer.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
we didn't tell. He believed in Richard Allen all this time, and that's where he got it from, not from us.
Hell, on top of that, I'll tell you another thing. He's armed and dangerous. Hell, when he used to troll me, hell, the dude used to say I farted 20-some times. He really confessed to farting. I mean, he's armed and dangerous. I'm sure there's probably crime scene tape around his toilet. Blew that thing up, man.
His roommate, his friend's roommate, is pretty damn lucky that he didn't get killed.
Exactly. His roommate's damn lucky he didn't kill him.
And John Kerry, you're putting out the wrong information, and you're getting the wrong information. I'm sorry, we didn't troll him. We don't have stuff that to attack him with.
Yeah.
Hate the turds.
Yeah, I never attacked him back. I usually just sit when he would come in and try to troll us. I would just sit back and laugh, and then my moderators would time him out. So it was like,
If you're talking to Brandon Rhodes, then you're listening to a liar.
and a serial killer. Yeah,
And I'm a big fan of Richard Allen.
He was the number one fan of Richard.
I mean, I wouldn't want nobody to be my idol like that or whatever, man.
This is where most of these people get into these killers in prison.
He was a copycat killer. He wanted to be just like Richard Allen.
Yeah, it's like you're reading their story, and these people write their books in prison, and they tell what they have done, and you have these people fall in the same footsteps of killing, and say, well, if I could change something, see if I can change something, and say, hey, I changed something in your description of how you killed someone. These people write letters. I knew there was a girl a long time ago. She wrote to a killer and thought, okay, I could change things. No, you can't change a killer.
They think they can change these people. They think they can make them all better and change them.
Or could he be the Virginia bomber, the toy bomber?
Well, see, the problem is the guy got out, and he went back to his same routine, making fake money. He was showing her how he made fake money to look like a real thing. And what they did, they took that fake money and went to Goodwill and buy stuff. And then find out days later that Goodwill said we had fake $100 bills coming through. I'm like, okay, because they don't see them, they don't catch it in time. They don't have machines. They should have had machines knowing that, hey, this is not real money.
Yeah,
spit out. But he never got caught. He ran away before he ever got caught. But yeah, we're not the ones who coached him to kill somebody.
Exactly.
It's their problem, not us, because we didn't harass him, and that's where John Kerry's getting twisted around. Yeah, you did. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does anyhow.
Hate us because they ain't us, baby. That's right. Alrighty. So I guess what I'll go ahead and do now, we're at the 45-minute mark. I'll go ahead and put y'all backstage, and I'll go ahead and start tonight's video. How's that sound?
All right.
Tonight's video, Delphi Murders, New Twists and Turns.
Oh, by the way,
yeah,
when the case first started, law enforcement, they had a good ass strategy, man. They looked in heavy register sex offenders. That's good though.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. That's the way to roll it.
Yep. They had to check all their angles. They had to cover all angles. Alrighty, I'll go ahead and jump into it. Tonight's video I made, title of it is Delphi Murders, New Twists and Turns. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, I'm getting ready to start it. And here we go.
Then Delphi. After dawn is your sanctuary. As the first light of dawn breaks through the night, we embark on a journey into the mysteries that chill the spine. I'm your host, Jason King, and together we'll explore the stories that lurk in the shadows. Each episode, we unravel chilling tales of unsolved crimes, police corruption, and heart-wrenching disappearances. Imagine a world where over 600,000 people vanished last year alone in the U.S., leaving behind only questions and heartache. Violent crime is on the rise, and the shadows grow longer each day. By joining us, you become a beacon for the voiceless, a light in the darkness. Together, we'll shine a light on society's darkest corners, uncovering the truths that hide in plain sight. From the eerie silence of abandoned buildings to the bustling streets where secrets are whispered, we leave no stone unturned. Tune in to Delphi After Dawn, where understanding is just a story away. Join us and let the journey begin. As we delve deeper, remember that every story has a heartbeat, a pulse that connects us all. We navigate through the labyrinth of human experience, seeking answers and shedding light on the unknown. So prepare yourself for a journey like no other, where every revelation brings us closer to the truth. Delphi. After Dawn is more than just a podcast. It's a community of seekers, united by curiosity and compassion. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. Join us and let the journey begin anew. In the shadows of the city, where secrets are commodities and trust is a luxury, one man delves into the minds of the monstrous. Welcome to the world of Jason King, a detective with a mind as sharp as a scalpel and a heart as resilient as steel. Beneath the ordinary scenes of daily life, grim tales of notorious serial killers lurk. Each one, unique in their madness, leaves behind a chilling legacy of victims and unsolvable puzzles. But the twisted minds of these murderers never elude Jason King. With every episode, the stakes rise. Every grim detail, each hideous crime, King peels back layer by layer. In a world where evil is the norm and horror is the narrative, Jason King remains steadfast. His mission? To uncover the dark consciousness of terror. His promise? Justice. This is Jason King's world, where crime is not just confronted, but comprehended. Dive deep into the chilling tales of serial killers with Jason King. This video is for educational entertainment and documentary purposes. Viewer discretion is highly advised. Hey guys, I can't even begin to describe how this case has haunted me since day one. The Delphi Murders. I mean, it's a case that's left an entire nation reeling. Two young girls, Abby Williams and Libby German, went for a hike on February 13th, 2017, and never came home. What happened that day on the Monon High Bridge Trail would spark one of the most intense investigations in Indiana's history. So, let's dive right in and unravel this heartbreaking mystery together. Okay, so it's an unseasonably warm February day in Delphi, Indiana. Abby and Libby, best friends and 8th graders, decide to take advantage of their day off school. They head to the Monon High Bridge Trail, a popular spot for locals. At 2:07 p.m., Libby posts a Snapchat photo of Abby walking on the bridge. It's the last time anyone would see them alive. Shortly after, Libby manages to capture a video on her phone, a man walking towards them on the bridge, and a male voice saying, "Guys, down the hill." I mean, can you imagine how terrifying that must have been? By 5:30 p.m., when the girls fail to meet their ride home, they're reported missing. And just like that, a normal day turns into a nightmare. Now, let me tell you about small towns like Delphi. Everyone knows everyone. So when Abby and Libby went missing, the whole community sprang into action. Search parties combed the woods late into the night, hoping against hope that the girls were just lost. But deep down, I think everyone feared the worst. And then on February 14th, Valentine's Day of all days, their worst fears were confirmed. The girls' bodies were found about half a mile from the bridge on private property belonging to a guy named Ron Logan. The police were tight-lipped about the details, but they described the crime scene as brutal and staged. I mean, can you even imagine what those poor families went through? One day your kid is there, and the next, it's just heartbreaking, you know? So, the investigation kicks into high gear. I'm talking FBI, state police, local law enforcement. Everyone's working around the clock to solve this case. They released that grainy video from Libby's phone, showing the man on the bridge. It's not much to go on, but it's something. And let me tell you, that audio clip of the man saying, "Guys, down the hill," is bone-chilling. It's like, this is the voice of a killer, you know? The thing is, despite all this evidence, despite the national attention, this case was given. Years go by, and there are no arrests. Can you believe that? It's like this guy just vanished into thin air. The community is on edge. Parents are terrified to let their kids out of their sight. And all the while, Abby and Libby's families, are left waiting for answers. So over the years, several persons of interest pop up. First, there's this guy, Daniel Nations. He gets arrested in Colorado for threatening hikers with a hatchet. People start freaking out because he kind of looks like the bridge guy from the video. But after investigating, they rule him out. Then there's this whole thing with Keegan Kline and his Anthony Shots catfishing profile. Turns out he was talking to Libby the night before the murders. I mean, talk about a red flag. But even he isn't charged with the murders. It's like every time there's a glimmer of hope, it just fizzles out. So, fast forward to October 2022. Out of nowhere, this local guy named Richard Allen gets arrested and charged with the murders. And I'm talking about a real local. This guy worked at the CVS in Delphi. People probably saw him every day, never suspecting a thing. It's crazy, right? The evidence they have against him is pretty compelling. There's this .40 caliber bullet found near the victims that's linked to Alan's gun. They've got surveillance footage and witnesses placing him at the scene. But here's the kicker. Alan apparently confessed 63 times to both law enforcement and his wife. I mean, can you imagine being his wife and hearing that? Your husband, the father of your children, confessing to this horrific crime. It's like something out of a nightmare. Okay, so we're in October 2024 now. Richard Allen's trial finally begins. And let me tell you, it's intense. The prosecutors play the full video and audio recording from Libby's phone. Can you imagine being in that courtroom, hearing that poor girl's last moments? It must have been gut-wrenching. They present all this evidence. The bullet, the confessions, everything. It's like, how could anyone doubt this guy's guilt? But, of course, the defense tries to poke holes in the case. They argue that Alan's confessions aren't reliable because of his mental state in solitary confinement. It's like, come on, really? After everything? They're trying to say he just made it all up? I mean, one false confession I might believe. But 63 false confessions is just unheard of. The trial goes on for weeks, and the whole country is watching. So, after 19 hours of deliberation, can you believe it took that long? The jury comes back with a verdict. Guilty on all charges. Richard Allen is sentenced to 130 years in prison. It's like this collective sigh of relief goes through the whole country. Finally, after all these years, Abby and Libby's families have some closure. It feels like justice, you know? But just when you think it's all over, boom, another twist. These documents come out suggesting that Ron Logan, the guy who owned the property where the bodies were found, might have confessed to a fellow inmate before he died. I mean, what? It's like, are you kidding me? After everything, now this comes out? It's enough to make your head explode. But guess what? New information has just been released by Indiana State Police investigators. Remember the guy that came forward that was locked up with Ron Logan, that said that Ron Logan confessed to him that he killed Abby and Libby? Well, Indiana State Police gave that guy a lie detector test. And guess what? The results was, that's right, you guessed it, he failed miserably. So, it's obvious that he is just another con man that made up a fake story to try to get his sentence reduced. That way, he could get out of prison early. So, here we are, years after those two innocent girls lost their lives, and we're still left with questions. Did Richard Allen act alone? Was Ron Logan involved somehow? Will we ever know the full truth? It's like, even with a conviction, this case refuses to give us clear-cut answers. And you know what? Maybe that's why it continues to fascinate and horrify us in equal measure. Stay safe out there, guys. And remember, for Abby and Libby, and for all victims of violent crime, we must never stop seeking the truth. As we wrap up this deep dive into the Delphi Murders, I can't help but think about Abby and Libby. 2 young lives cut short. 2 families forever changed. This case has left an indelible mark on all of us. It's a stark reminder of the evil that exists in this world, but also of the resilience of a community and the relentless pursuit of justice. Stay safe out there, guys. And remember, for Abby and Libby, and for all victims of violent crime, we must never stop seeking the truth.